As I stand before you on this Shabbat, I really have had a whirlwind in the last few weeks. Last week we were in Puerto Rico with the Pollock family as Ari, their middle child, was married. And Ari was one of those kids that when I got here, he was in elementary school. He has grown up through middle school and high school and college. It is great to be a Florida Gator. And now I'm looking out at Chloe, and I don't know what the sport is, so I'm a little worried. And I saw him go off into the world, and he met his beloved at All Places Jewish Summer Camp, and we went and were able to share in that simcha. Now I come back to Vero Beach, and this has been a week with lots, or a day with lots of simcha too. This morning we got to be with the Rose family and the Schwartz family as Scott and Chloe welcomed Sadie into the world. We got to do her naming and welcoming her to the covenant. And now tonight we are here as Porter Moore Baker is being joined to the people of Israel. And I think about all of these moments of simcha, and I also think about Miriam and Jill, and I realize that one of the things we tell as we're telling these stories of this part of Genesis is our ancestors did a lot of acts of just throwing themselves into the world. Right? Abraham, he went forth. He and Sarah, they had no idea what they were getting themselves into. God said go, and they threw themselves into it. Headlong, full on into an adventure. Sometimes they had blessing and sometimes they had challenge. But they made it to that promised land. Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob in this week's Torah portion, he throws himself in with both feet, ending up with the birthright through a failed maneuver with his brother, ending up sneaking in for the parental blessing. He just throws himself in, and next week will throw himself as he goes off searching for a wife and ends up with quite the incredible family that becomes the tribes of Israel. Each of our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Leah, and Rachel, each of them have these moments where they just throw themselves in. We have had that this night. Think about how much courage, how much chutzpah, how much heart it takes just to throw yourself in to doing something you have never done before, or haven't done a lot, or don't have experience, and getting in front of people or standing with the community and having to try to fake it until you make it. It's extraordinary. And I was thinking for just a moment, I'm like, I've got that with the wedding, I've got that with this conversion, with this act of accepting the vote. And then I remembered, Chloe, there is actually a story in Jewish life. It is told that when you are conceived, your soul comes into the queue in the world to come. And one of your ancestors that's been teaches the soul that is to come everything it knows from the world. When it is time to be born, the soul does not want to come into the world. The world to come is all pleasant and shalom and warm and lovely, and so somewhere between matzo ball soup and a good fresh baked challah with some brownies. I get it. How do we know that a soul doesn't want to come? Because they need a push. The soul that has been, that is teaching that soul that is to be, puts their thumb right there and pushes them out. Now, if you're really, really stubborn, they have to put the other finger there. And so if you see somebody that's got the chin dimple, then you know that's stubborn. And they push you out and you forget everything you've learned. I think about that, and I think, Chloe, as you were sharing the names of your grandmother and Scott's grandfather, and how that Sadie shares those. And I just remember holding Nathaniel when he was a baby and reading that story and looking and wondering whose thumbprint is there, whose impression is there as he comes into this world. When we talk about that act of just jumping in, we think of all of those who have come before that have left their wisdom behind, that have left their chutzpah behind, that have left their ruach and koach behind, to carry us to this moment. And then we also think of all of that courage that it takes to stand in front of the community, even to stand behind the computer, just to make sure everything comes together. And so